rotation and acceleration is a torque. And we're using the ground reaction force to generate the torque. When we use the ground better, then with that we can generate more torque and higher club speed and increase the distance.
こんにちは。ゴルフ界の面白いコンテンツやアマチュアの方が疑問に思っているモヤモヤなどを取り上げていく勝手にゴルフダイジェスト。今回はゲストの方をお呼びして進めていきたいと思います。今回のゲストは世界的なゴルフスイング研究の第一人者ヤンフー・クォン教授です。どうぞよろしくお願いします。クォン教授はアメリカテキサス女子大学の教授でスポーツバイオメカニクスを専門に研究していらっしゃいます。PGA ツアーのプロゴルファーとかですね、その他のトッププレイヤーたちのスイング、それからゴルフ以外でも世界のアスリートたちの動きをいろいろ研究していらっしゃるという方です。今回はですね、特別に地面反力の活用法っていうものをテーマにですね、お話ししていきたいなと思っております。そしてもう一人、クォン教授と親交があるプロゴルファーの吉田博一郎さんにもご参加いただいてですね、ゴルフティーチングにおける地面反力の活用についてお話ししていきたいと思います。どうぞよろしくお願いします。
よろしくお願いします。
クォン教授は2018年にゴルフダイジェスト社から驚異の反力打法という本をですね、執筆していただいたんですけれども、私もそのライティングにお手伝いさせていただきまして、私自身はですね、教授からいろいろお話を書きまして、すごくわかりやすかったんですけれども、アマチュアゴルファーの方にはですね、まだなんかいまいちわかりにくいとか、難しそうとか、そういうイメージを持っていらっしゃる方も多いんじゃないのかなと思います。その地面反力ですけれども、アマチュアゴルファーにとってはそれを使うのは難しいんじゃないか、トッププロたちだけが使えるような能力なんじゃないかっていうふうに感じている人もいるんじゃないのかなと思うんですけれども、果たしてアマチュアもそれってできるのかっていうところをまず教授にですね、しっかり説明していただきたいと思うんですが、いかがでしょうか。
Yeah, the ground reaction force is basically the force you get from the ground. And what it does is it allows you to generate necessary motion of the body. And particularly golf swing is a rotation dominant motion. And we can use the ground reaction force to generate torque, which will generate the rotation. So regardless of whether you are a professional player or amateur player, basically you have to use the ground reaction force. So the question is how well you use the ground. And generally when we try to use the ground well, then we have to use the big muscles in the legs. So for example, if an amateur player uses the lower body better and generate more ground reaction force, then the swing becomes easier. And also they can easily generate more distance. So if a golfer does not want extra distance, then he or she is not a true golfer. And better use of the ground will definitely help the golfer to generate more speed. And more importantly, when you develop a rhythmic body motion to use the ground well, that the swing becomes also more consistent. So it can certainly help the amateur golfers to improve their swing.
地面反力っていうもの自体を何か特殊なですね、ゴルフスイングのいわゆる打法みたいなものだっていうふうに、理解しているアマチュアも実は多いんじゃないかなって思います。皆さんそもそも存在するものをどう上手に使うか、そういうようなものであるって認識していいんでしょうか。
You know, every golfer uses the ground. So the question is how well the golfer uses the ground. So in this book, we try to emphasize the importance of using the ground better. Yeah, so in order to increase the effectiveness or maximization of the outcome, then we have to use the ground really well. But for that, golfers need to understand certain aspects. That was covered by the book.
やはり地面反力って飛ぶ飛距離につながる、教授もおっしゃってたようにゴルファーみんな飛ばしたいっていうところとつながってくると思うんですが、なぜその飛距離っていうところに強く結びつくのか、この仕組みを簡単に説明していただけたらと思います。
Yes. So in order to hit the ball far, then you have to have a faster club speed. And then we're using the rotational motion of the body and the club to generate the club speed. So that means we need a fast rotation. And what causes the rotational acceleration is a torque. And we're using the ground reaction force to generate the torque. So when we use the ground better, then with that we can generate more torque. And then we have a faster rotation and higher club speed. and increase the distance.
地面反力ってまさにこう地面に圧力をかけてそれから跳ね返ってくる比較的こうバーティカルなっていうか縦方向の動きっていう風にそこまではアマチュアは理解できるんですが、それがどうやってゴルフスイングの回転に変換されていくんだろうかっていうのにアマチュアはなかなかピンとこないところがあると思います。そこに何か教授からアマチュアがイメージしやすいそこの仕組みをですね説明していただくことはできないかなと思うんですが。
So the ground direction force has actually three components, not just the vertical force, but it has a lateral force and the forward-backward force. So the direct outcome of the ground direction force is moving the body up and down or laterally or forward-backward. However, if the force is not passing through the center of mass of the body, then it also generates torque at the same time. So let me demonstrate this. So if I interact with the ground only in the vertical direction and then the force is passing through the center of mass, at this time the force is passing through the center of mass, so we will only see up and down motion here, jump. But still I'll have a vertical force, but this time I will use the left leg more. So overall my body will move upward, but at the same time I will be able to generate the rotation. So here. So this is because the force is not passing through the center of mass, but it is passing through like this. So this gap is called the moment arm or lever arm. So when the force does not pass through the center of rotation, then it also generates a torque. Then the torque generates rotation. And then the ground direction force has all three components. So it can also generate motion in the horizontal direction. Then I will combine all these together. So this time I will jump this way and then turn at the same time. So now my body moves this way, but at the same time generate the rotation. So this time the force was not vertical, but it was going this way here. So I had the horizontal force that causes this lateral motion. But at the same time, the force is now inclined like this. Then it's easy to generate this momentum. Then you can generate larger torque. So that's what we see in golf swing.
おそらくアマチュアの場合、教授のおっしゃる質量中心に対するまずイメージがあまり持ってないっていうこと、それからこうやって教授の話を聞いてるとですね、やっぱり地面反力を上手に使うっていうことは、その地面反力のエネルギーの方向を、コントロールすることがすごく重要なんだなって思って、おそらく単純に地面反力っていう言葉だったりとか、たくさん大きく使えっていうようなところから入ってしまうアマチュアは、多分そこのイメージが持てないからゴルフスイングに回転につなげられないんじゃないかなって思うんですよね。
実際にアマチュアゴルファーの方から質問されることが多いのが、縦の地面反力を使ってどういうふうに体を速く回すのか回転するのか、このイメージが単純に湧かないという人が非常に多いです。実際に試してみたけれどもダフってしまって地面を打ってボールが飛ばないとか、ひどい人だといろいろ曲がってしまうということがあるということなので、実際になぜそのような地面反力、縦の地面反力によって回転するのかっていうこと、そしてそれをまっすぐ活かせることができないアマチュアゴルファーに何が起こっているのかということをちょっと聞きたいなと思います。
So I think it's a two-part question, but first, then how amateur golfers can get rid of the image of force and the momentum and how to generate torque, where's the center of mass and things like that. So this is why we need to develop some practical drills to automatically promote the good use of the ground. So understanding the idea of torque is, in other words, understanding the scientific foundation of the use of the ground. But in reality, when you try to use the ground really well, then the best way to do that is developing a rhythmic swing motion. And then the key aspect of the rhythmic swing motion is change of direction. So this is probably the way golf has been taught for long, but the golfers were always forced not to move the body that much in the horizontal direction or in the vertical direction. So in that image, by using the ground better and then try to generate torque, but this is simply a foreign, concept. But if you allow your body to move reasonably, then you can easily use the ground really well. So, for example, if you want to generate a good amount of force in the vertical direction and in the horizontal direction, then simply move the body vertically and horizontally. And luckily, we have 2 legs. And then, so this makes it really easy to use the ground really well. By having stepping-like action, you can generate the horizontal motion and the vertical motion easily. So here, when you take turns and push the ground, so push it down and then laterally outward, down and laterally outward here. So what this does is it allows you to move the body horizontally slightly here. And you can add the turn here. So you have a change of direction. What that means is that you have force acting in the horizontal direction. But also in the vertical direction, during this motion, your body is actually moving also up and down. So when you push the ground with the leg, then the body moves up. And then when you push the ground this way with the left leg, again, the body moves up. But then between the up motion, you must have a down motion automatically. So all you do actually is just use the legs actively and then turn. So when you just move the body like this, having shift motion, then you are using the forces. But then when you want to use the torque, then you can promote this rotation motion here. Turn. But still, these are coming. This motion is coming from the gravitational force. Now, in this process, if you turn your upper body about the spine axis, turn this way here, then your swing path should be pretty consistent here. But if you emphasize too much the vertical motion here, then what happens is your body moves up and down here. So this is so-called the early extension. But then also your arms goes up and down here. Then the impact point is not consistent. So sometimes you have a fat shot. Sometimes if you drag it too much, then you have a thin shot. But the goal is to, by using the ground here and then promote this turn about the spine axis, this. It's not about this motion here, rather turn around. Ultimately, the goal is to generate a good rotation about the spine axis. And as you repeat the motion, you have to have a consistent swing play. And in this process, you can use a visual target, perhaps a rubber tee, and then as you swing, you can touch the tip. That way you can really use the ground direction force to generate the rotational motion instead of unnecessary up and down motion.